Now I want to do one of my favorite things, take a ride on a track with you. So, all right, Robert, what track are we on? What car are we in? And then we're going to play this and we're going to stop it in different places so you can talk about the track as you're going around it. So, where are we?
So this is the Misano World Circuit located in Misano Adriatico in Italy.
Okay.
So in this part of the track, most cars are going to be fifth gear, but my car's gear ratios are a little different. So I actually have to be in sixth gear. So here you want to hit the brakes, high PSI, very short amount of time, spike the brakes, get off, two downshifts in my case, and then you want to get a nice turn in to prioritize the next corner because actually no, you want to get a turn in the first turn. The first turn is priority right here because you want to be carrying a lot of speed through it since it's a fast turn. And then after that, it's another turn right after, which is turn two, where you want to tap the brakes again and do one downshift.
Okay.
Tap the brakes, not as hard as turn one because you're not carrying a lot of speed. Very slight tap on the brakes just to keep the car grounded. One downshift, and then you turn in. Another thing I wanted to add was that, as you can see here on the track, I'm using the blue. Every single turn here that has blue, you want to use because really you're riding a whole nother track. It's a very unconventional method, but I learned that the lap times are much faster when you use all the blue because believe it or not, this is not track limits. So using the blue every time you can at this track is just gonna give you so much time. Anyways, this is flat out, and they're gonna be flat out until you see the next piano or curbing, and that's where we're gonna be next.
So, you're pedal to the metal all the way.
Yeah, flat out right here. You want to brake around where you see the black tire marks, and then you want to do three downshifts. Again, this is one of those turns where you want to use all of the blue you can, and you want to get on throttle as early as possible after that. Flat out through this whole section until I think it's turn six where we brake again. But this is a very important section because you want to get your tires onto where that middle apex curbing is. You're going to see just up ahead because if you don't, the exit curbing is super bumpy and you do not want to go over that.
I wouldn't have thought that you would be flat out going around these turns.
It is, yeah, it's flat out. It's a very nice high speed circuit.
How fast are you going right here, flat out?
So I want to say this is about maybe 110 miles an hour because again we're just getting out of a corner. So somewhere around 100 miles an hour right now. By the end of this straight, you're going to be like 120.
Okay.
Yo, you want to brake at the last marker. We just passed it, but you want to really hit the brakes hard over there. Two downshifts again, another turn where you want to prioritize hitting the blue, and that's where the apex is basically for, like I said, maybe 75% of the turns is getting your whole car inside where the blue is because really the apex is where you're almost touching the grass. So again, you want to get into the blue, throttle as early as possible. Don't use too much of the exit curve because that is going to be track limits.
Does it slow you down when you're hitting the red and white part?
No, not really. I mean, in the rain, you definitely don't want to be touching it because it's paint, right? So there was no grip in the rain. But in dry conditions, it actually benefits you a lot because you use more track, so you're able to carry just that tad bit more speed, which is actually everything at the end.
Okay.
So this is actually one of my most favorite brake zones on this whole track. It's very technical because, as you can see, this is a little different. I'm braking while my steering wheel is turned. So you want to brake not you want to brake just at enough at the limit to where you're slowing the car down, but not obviously locking up. So the goal is have your foot on the brake just a little bit longer, but get those two downshifts on, then trail off and get right back onto throttle. Just wanted to add that this is going to be the fastest part of the track. It's going to be like a good 10 to 12 seconds where you're just flat out the whole time. All the turns that you're going to see up ahead, all flat out.
Okay. And I noticed that instead of blue, it was green on that last turn. What was that significance?
Just how they painted the track, I don't honestly, I'm not so sure why they would do that. They maybe wanted to add in because it's the curbing, which is red and white, and then green is the exit curb, which I feel like symbolizes more the Italian flag.
Fair. I was gonna say
I'll-
maybe they just ran out of the blue paint.
So here, this is actually quite a tricky brake section. You want to, believe it or not really hit the brakes too hard, just enough to get the car to be able to turn into this next corner. Next corner, you want to use as much blue as possible. So you do, I think, a quick one downshift while you're braking. And then it's a very grandma, I like to call it, a grandma like turn where you're not very aggressive in the turn. It's a very smooth, small turn because, I mean, you don't want to lose traction. So this next turn is you have to be very precise and very smooth with the turn in. Right here is a very important brake section because if you're a little bit more like you see where I am right now in between the exit curb and the road, that's where
Mhm.
you want to place the car because you if you go either too much to the outside, there is no grip and you lock up, or you go too much to the inside, you're not carrying enough speed. So this turn, very important, be using all the track you can without obviously going too off, and use all the blue in the inside of this apex again. Right through here, you want to be flat out again. It kind of gets you in the beginning because, as you can see, there is a good little amount of sausage curves, and if you hit that, I mean, I don't want to know what happens. You want to be flat out through here using all the track you can and using all the exit you can, and then the last turn after this, which we'll get to, is going to be one of the most. This is actually another unconventional but very important part of the track that you want to be at. You want to be, again, in the entry to the last turn. You want to be using all the track you can because, again, that just gives you a lot, like basically a whole wider track where you can carry more speed. And not only that, but if you're in the inside, I mean, you can just if surprisingly you can get past on the outside. I saw here. So using all of the outside for the entry of this turn just helps you carry so much more speed. Exit of the last turn. Using all the exit is also another priority, which actually when you use all the entrance, you tend to use all the exit because you're carrying a lot of speed. So that's a lap here at Misano. What an amazing track. I mean, probably one of if I've had to rank it as Valle Lunga number one, this is an easy number two because it's a big track, it's technical and it's quick. So that's a lap here at Misano.
That's so cool. So cool.